Time for something a little bit different. Doctor Who fans got a thrill at the recent Vivid Festival in Sydney with a huge light and project show. But how did all that magic happen? Sky News business reporter Nigel Freitas takes a look.
He's the alien that travels through time and space. But for a short period this month, Doctor Who beamed into Sydney.
I'm the Doctor.
The travelling Time Lord, part of the Vivid Festival, battling a variety of monsters as the series celebrates its 50th anniversary. But how did such an iconic character get projected on such an iconic building? Well, that's a story in itself, and it involves an Australian technology company called Spinifex.
A very exciting opportunity for us. I mean, Doctor Who is such an iconic entertainment brand known worldwide.
Well before the lasers, lights or projectors are fired up, executive producer Nick Goldsworthy gets a brief from the client, and that's on a piece of paper.
The exciting thing about the brief was to bring Doctor Who to a screen, to a platform that it probably hasn't seen before. And essentially that's to project a 25-metre high Doctor Who onto Customs House in Sydney.
From there, the project is brought to life as the creative side of the business uses art, storyboards and frameworks to map out just how the project will look. But in this game, the canvas is just as important as the artwork, so the technical team begins working on the building itself.
It's not a regular TV screen or a cinema screen. You have to actually understand what surface you're projecting onto.
Hey Tran looks after technology at Spinifex, and he says there's only one surefire way to understand the complexities of the building.
So using a laser scanning device, you can get down to the millimetre an accurate 3D model. You can work off plans, you can create a model from eye, but nothing gets better than an actual laser scan.
It's not just a case of mapping out those surfaces though, but making use of those distinctive nooks and crannies.
So we try and take into account what the windows are like, what the sandstone is like, the balconies, etc. Whatever we can do to make it different for every occasion.
The project is then broken down into more detailed and complex segments, discrete pieces of art, design and motion that all come together on powerful PCs.
We still include hand-drawn techniques, we still do photography, we still do filming, but the place where it does all get put together is actually on the computer.
But eventually that project has to move off those computers and into the real world.
No matter how accurate the model was, no matter how precise our work is, you never really know until you go on site.
This is where testing takes place. So on a cold Sydney night at 2 a.m, the Spinifex team assembles together to run their content through the on-site projectors.
There's lighting around there. There's trucks and cars and buses that drive by and create different lighting environments. Of course, the audio, you got to make sure that it's positioned correctly because the audio bounces off various surfaces. And then there's the weather. There's rain, there's wind, cloud and mist. So we use digital tools, but it is show business. So you have to make sure that whatever we create, we test and preview on site.
And the crowds this year didn't disappoint, turning up in numbers despite the heavy rain. But there was one person there who wasn't watching the show.
I actually end up looking at the audience more and just to make sure that they're actually getting the point of what we're trying to do.
The final crowd figures for Vivid haven't yet been released, but Spinifex estimate over 10,000 people watched the Doctor Who projections while in Sydney. Hundreds of thousands more followed the action online. Doctor Who has around 3 million Facebook fans. Now next year, Spinifex hopes to take the projections to another level by making them more interactive.
The ultimate goal is for users, for those who are actually engaging with our projections in our shows, to be able to create, to be able to think, to be able to affect what it is that they're seeing and what they're experiencing.
And that's something even Doctor Who would no doubt approve.
Where do you want to go? Hey? What do you want to see?
Nigel Freitas, Sky News Business, Sydney.
Okay, back to the boards. Let's take a look at SPI futures right now. You'll see down about 0.7% or 33 points at 4,655. Let's get some opening calls. Juliana Rodley from CommSec joining us in Sydney there. Juliana, good morning to you. Happy Monday. Let's start with the SPI futures. They're not looking quite so happy. Are they the kind of losses you're looking at the open, about 0.7%?
Well, look, I think 30 points is probably something we can easily manage, and we might see the market coming back. We have to remember that most of the run in the Dow, which actually finished in positive territory, was in the last, hour or so of trade. What we did see, though, was continued weakness in the mining sector. The materials sector, not only in the US, but also in the UK and Europe, were the